Hey everybody, day six of the Talk to Camera Challenge, and we're going to be talking. The prompt today is my favorite insights from using the Zettelkasten in 2023. So again, I started using mine right around October 10th of last year. I studied about it and read about it a little bit before that, but actually started my first card October 10th, so it hasn't been that long. Now I've been spending a lot of time on it. So I've calculated I've got probably over about 350 hours into mine, which is a little nuts, but again, hyper focus, the ADHD is a a superpower with kryptonite, I guess, in a lot of ways. So our community, the Scott Shepherd letters community, they asked, at the end of the year, they did a bunch of different prompts. Can you do this and that? One of them was, can you give me one card that was your favorite card that you did last year? And I couldn't narrow it down to just one. And I posted on there that I had 6 of them that I keep going back to, and that have led me to a lot of stuff. And so I want to share those 6 and kind of give you an idea of what kind of information and what kind of connections you might start to connect when you start developing your own Zettelkasten. Here are my 6 cards. I went and found these. I spent about a half an hour this morning going through finding these 6 cards and then finding the links that I had put on these cards to kind of determine and show you what you end up doing. So the first one, and I've talked about this at least twice, maybe more, through the previous prompts. The first card is I don't know if I can show you that, the importance of why. Why is more important than the what and even the how, because again, if your why is important enough, then your how and your what you'll find a way, right? You'll find a way. And so, but then that card, if you notice at the bottom, I have see also purpose, and then I have a card address on there. And then also I've got introspection, which is a new section in my Zettelkasten. We'll go over that in a minute, but the importance of why, that's one of the big cards that has hit me this year. Another thing that happened at the end of September of last year, which is right around my wife's birthday and our anniversary, I started studying a lot about the Stoic philosophy. And that has made a huge impact in my life. I've got a whole section on the Stoics, multiple sections on different ones, and a lot of their teachings, a lot of their beliefs, I have incorporated in my life. So this one is not from the Stoics, but it has to do with kind of Stoic thinking. And so there's a quote from Viktor Frankl. He is the Nazi prison camp survivor. He survived the camp, and I've got a quote on here from him. It's, ultimately, man should ask not what the meaning of life is, but rather he must recognize that it is he who is asked. In a word, each man is questioned by life, and he can only answer to life by answering for his own life. To life he can only respond by being responsible. And that's found in Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And so from this card, I wrote, what is, not what is the meaning of life. I talked about my Zettelkasten back here in the 42 boxes that I have, based on the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, What is the Meaning of Life, 42. And this kind of goes along with that. It's not what is the meaning of life, it is what is the meaning of my life? And what is the meaning of your life? And then not what is the meaning of life, but what am I making my life mean? It's a huge difference, and it's pretty cool. So that's another one of my cards. I don't rank these. These are kind of 6 that I put on the same level. The third one is, what is the most important thing? What is my most important thing? What do I believe that God has placed me here for? He has put us where and when He wants us in history. He has surrounded us with the people that we are surrounded by for a reason, for a purpose. And what do I think that is? Kind of another part of this is not to be distracted by what other people think your most important thing should be. Because everybody's got a lot of good ideas on what you should be doing with your life. But ultimately, you have to decide. You have to decide what you're going to do with your life. I have to decide what I'm going to do with my life. And then know again that everybody is selling something. Everyone is selling something. So never let people can give you advice, and that's cool. But trust yourself, trust God, and really think, what is my most important thing? What does God want me to do? And don't let other people distract you. That's the third card that I came up with. The fourth is a quote from Seneca. Time is our most precious resource. And we spend the thing we can never, ever get back. He didn't say ever. Never get back the most frivolously. And we do. The scripture says, make the most of your time, for the days are evil. Time is short. We only have, if we live to be as old as the life expectancy rates, we've got about 4,000 weeks in our lifetime. That's not a lot of weeks in a lifetime. And teacher said, the scripture says to, teach us to number our days. I got to find where that's at, actually. But teach me to number my days. I got to write that on this card too. Because it's limited. It's limited what we have to do. And we can waste it, on binge watching, Netflix. We can waste it on, hanging out with people that may not be good for us. We can waste it so easily. And then we can waste it on not having, what is my most important thing, right? We can waste it on not knowing our why. And if we don't know our why, we don't know our purpose, then a lot of times we want to kill time, right? That becomes our default, is we just start killing time. And time, you can't get it back. We can't get it back. So my encouragement from this card is, time is our most precious resource. Just try to remember that. All right. And then what was that? 4? Let's see, how many was that? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the fifth one. This has been one of my favorites. This comes from Marcus Aurelius. And I believe it's Book 6, passage 52. And it says, "You don't have to have an opinion. We have the power to hold no opinion about a thing and to not let it upset our state of mind. For things have no power to shape our judgments." It ends there, actually. My annotation, or I don't even know if that's the right word. My inflection was making it seem like there was more to that. But anyway, you don't have to have an opinion. When something comes up in your feed, when somebody asks you to, fill out this thing, or what do you think about this? You don't have to have an opinion. Somebody asks you how you feel about this political situation, or whatever it is, whatever is on their minds, and it's super important to them. You don't have to have an opinion. No, you don't have to. You don't have to say that to them, I know some people feel strongly about some things, and they bring it up to me, and I'm like, yeah, I haven't really thought about that. I've got a lot of other things I'm thinking about. I haven't really thought about that. I don't know enough. And, you don't have to tell them you don't care, but you might not care. And you don't have to have an opinion. And if you do have an opinion, this is what my card says here. You don't have to have an opinion on this. And if you do have an opinion on it, take time before responding. This is more talking about social media, but it has helped me a ton this year in just, I don't have to respond right away to anything. I can hold off. I can wait. I can think about my response. Think about, do I even want to respond? Why, if I do want to respond, why do I want to respond? Why does my opinion matter? And is my opinion well thought out? And if it's not, well, let's write about it, because writing is thinking. Let's write about, why is it important, and are my thoughts in order? So, and that is another thing that I do in my Zettelkasten a lot, is I write my opinions about things. The last card is actually my opinion. This wasn't a quote from anybody or anything. I just started writing free form. And this is it. Deep down inside, and I'm writing to myself here, deep down inside that there is something you're meant for. There is this feeling that there is an identity that you will need to actualize. Need is the real word here. You might get off track and play all kinds of roles. Now, I've heard other people talking about playing roles, but you might get off track and play all kinds of roles before you give in to this real you. You might fight it forever. As I'm reading this, I know there's been some people that said things like this, and maybe that's where this came from in my head as I was writing it down. I don't have it cited here. But you might fight this. Your tribe might not like it, that this new you, or this actualizing this new person that you see yourself as being. They might not like that. They might reject that. You're not as fun as you used to be. We're not interested in the same things anymore. But if we're not being ourselves, if we're playing a role, it can be, in quotes, it can be a hell on earth, where we're not being authentic. And then I wrote, it's only when you catch a glimpse and realize that this person, you do something or you respond a certain way and it clicks. Yeah, that's who I am. That's who I want to be. I want to produce more of that. I want to lean into this identity more. And then you lean into that and life starts falling into place. And then I wrote at the end of this, this might all be wrong, but it's coming from somewhere. And I don't think it is, but I wrote that on there for whatever reason, just to probably tell myself that, you know, who knows, explore this more. So I want to talk a little bit about what this then leads to. Like I've got some jump links on some of these cards, and one of them is purpose. And I went and grabbed my purpose card because it's I've got on here purpose, your reason for being, and this is a Japanese saying. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it right, but it's Ikigai, Ikigai, a reason for being. And here's the thing. If you look that up online, you will see a graph, something like that. And it has what we love, what we are good at, what we can be paid for, and what the world needs. And if you can find all four of those things for your life, then you've got that reason for being. And I think it's very cool. It's a very cool concept. And then I've got purpose without priority is powerless, and that comes from Goal Setting to Now. That's a book that I had read in 2023 again. I read it years ago, but I had lost a lot of it. And so I reread it and then input it into my Zettelkasten. And it was interesting. The second time I read it, I thought it was more profound than it was. I don't mean that bad. The first half of it seemed kind of superficial now, and I think I've read a lot since then. A lot of the ideas in it maybe are more common to me than they were the first time I read it. But the first half seemed kind of fluffy, not super applicable. But the later half of the book was super applicable. And I've got a note for some links on here. I've got a link to my card on why. And I've got a link to Goal Setting to Now. That's something that they went over in that book, The One Thing. And Goal Setting to Now, I've actually incorporated that into my Zettelkasten, and I will be going over that. I'll spend a whole video talking about Goal Setting to Now, using your Zettelkasten to do it. And it has helped me develop a ton, like just stay motivated, stay moving, and create a lot of stuff. All right, so then that's that. And then in this, I have purpose without priority is powerless, and I've got priority underlined, which means that I can go into my index, I can look for priority, and I can see what the address is, and I can find it. I've already pulled it out, prioritization. I've got it here. You know, and I just got a definition here, the process of arranging things by an order of importance. And I got purpose without priority is powerless. And that comes from Keller's book. I don't remember Keller's first name. Is that Keller? Yeah, Keller is The One Thing, I guess. No, or am I wrong? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I've got the bib card or the source card, so I can look that up. But and then again on this card, I've got Goal Setting to Now. And then I've also got a card about goals, which I went and grabbed. The only reason to have goals, strong goals, allow us to be appropriate in the moments of our lives that matter. And I thought that was pretty profound. Goals allow us to be appropriate in the moments of our lives that matter. When we have goals, first of all, goals come from a purpose, come from a plan. And when we have a purpose and we have goals to accomplish, the things surrounding that purpose, then, when we're questioning what we should do, then we can act appropriately in the moment. And that comes from Keller book as well. Let's see. And then here I've got all moments should matter because time is our most valuable resource. And I've got a link back to the, time being our most valuable resource. And then another card that's just right next to my goals card is this one comes from Kishimi, which is the book The Courage to Be Disliked. And this isn't an exact quote. This is actually just me in my own words. We are always setting goals, either consciously or subconsciously. When we are avoiding something, we have a goal that avoiding it would accomplish, or we think will help us accomplish it. That goal might be to avoid rejection, so we avoid finishing the content, so there is no way it can be rejected. Or we are more comfortable the way we are and fear change. It takes courage to face the unknown. And like I said, I almost didn't start this 30-day challenge, 30-day talk to camera challenge, because it really freaked me out. It really freaked me out that, talking into that lens. But I'm so glad I did it. It's day 6. I'm so glad I've done it. So yeah, this is the kind of stuff, I've got 5 different sources here. And you'll start making these connections between all these different thoughts. And it's a beautiful thing. Self-awareness, I talked about self-awareness earlier, one of the links. I've got a whole section now, there's probably, 25 cards here probably, about self-awareness. Because we need to know who we are. We need to know what we believe, why we believe it. We need to know our strengths and our weaknesses. Because in order to grow, and in order to lean into our strengths, and in order to fix potentially some of our weaknesses, we need to know who we are, and we need to know why we believe what we believe, and we do what we do. And so I started a whole new section on self-awareness. And I've got lots of stuff in here, questions, personal strength, like what tasks do I find easy that others might struggle with? In which situations do I feel most confident in? What positive feedback do I commonly receive from others? What achievements am I most proud of, and why? I got a bunch of questions. Now, a lot of these come from Ducker, Chris Ducker, but knowing who we are. So, and then let's see, what else has this led me to? Focusing on the why, and then time being our most precious resource. I started, where is it at? Let me see if I've got the name of it. So I have an idea for a book that I'm planning on writing, and it's all in this right now. This is what I call a project deck now within my Zettelkasten. And this is the concept of a extraordinary life, and my book would be focused on the extraordinary life in Christ. And what I had originally named the book, or what the potential name of the book was going to be, is Priceless Passion, Finding Your Real Why. Well, let me go back to the very original name of it. Finding your real why before you waste your most precious resource, your time, on the trivial. And that'll probably be somewhat of the of the subtitle, but I want to be a little more positive. But anyway, having this Zettelkasten, I've got at least, there might be 100 cards here that are all laid out in the order that I want them to be in a book if I was to write the book. And I'm gonna go over this in another video probably before the 30 days is up, about writing and coming up with content. But anyway, that's those 6 cards have kind of helped me. I keep coming back to them, and they keep spurring me on to deeper thought and deeper communication with my past self as I write these things down, and I tie new information that I learn into those quite often. But yeah, this is again day 6 of 30-day challenge, 24 days to go, and keep seeking His face, and God bless.